Greetings everybody! 3/21 Wednesday, July 18th. First visit back since I painted the interior. It's still there. Looks relatively shiny. I haven't checked it over hand yet, but I'm sure it's okay, or at least good enough for now. So the focus tonight is going to be to get seam sealer in all the spots where it needs to be seam sealed. I'll take care of all that. I'll be a little bit more aggressive with the seam sealer this time because I'm not going to use Raptor Liner on any of this stuff. So especially for the brush on stuff, I want to get a little bit more aggressive with the seam sealer and cover a little bit more on the underside. I didn't use it too much because I knew I was going to put Raptor Liner down, but that's not the case here. So after that, I'm going to get the car rotated and see if I can get it totally flipped upside down. And I left a little bit of epoxy primer left over here on Saturday. The pot life on this stuff is 72 to 120 hours or so. So it looks like it's pretty good. I'm not going to lift the cover yet until I'm ready to actually use it. But if I can get the bottoms of the wheel arches in the back there cut in with some epoxy, that'd be great. But otherwise I'm going to flip it over and start going to town on cleaning up the bottom in preparation for getting the Raptor Liner on there, which, if everything goes to plan, hopefully I'll get that this weekend. So that's the plan ahead for this evening. Not incredibly exciting, so we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm putting the seam sealer in the seams, like I mentioned, with the caulking gun first, and just going around. This is not that difficult. It's no different than if you were doing it in your bathroom or something like that, so don't worry about it being difficult to get a handle on this stuff or whatever. It's all the same, about the same consistency. Alright, and the acid brush that I had showed you the last time, just kind of going along the seam and just making sure I get any air holes or spots that I may have missed a little bit of coverage on. Alright, so one trick I learned, and I learned this a while ago actually, just using the caulking gun at my house. As you can see, that little extra bit of caulk that has come out, or seam sealer that's come out, when you put pressure on this, on the trigger, it'll tend to keep rolling the seam sealer out even if you're done kind of wanting to seam it. So it's got this little, the caulking guns have this little release back here that'll eventually allow you to, pull that, the plunger all the way out. If you just pop that real quick with your thumb, it kind of takes the pressure off the tube and the stuff will stop oozing out on you. Alright, I don't intend to do the area between the inner sill and the floor because there's nothing there really exterior to the car, so there's no reason to seam seal it that I know of. Now maybe I will anyway, just because. Alright, so that's done. It wasn't too bad with the caulk gun. All the areas underneath the dash, obviously, all those seams there. Now all the flat seams and everything else I'll go over with the paintable stuff, and then I'll also go over these seams with the paintable stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to skimp with the paintable stuff this time. I'm going to lay it on pretty good with a 1-inch chip brush, trying to keep any little stuff that may come off the brush out of there, of course. But that's the next step, is to start getting that stuff on here. So I'll do that where I can, and that's going to be about 60-minute wait time on this other stuff. But that's the next course, and then I'll get the body flipped over and start working on that. All right, about 5:30, and I'm done. So it wasn't too bad at all. Big weld seam there. That's that boot floor that I didn't really enjoy my repair too well on. Probably should not have seam sealed that, but I went ahead and did that anyway. But everything that I can think of anyway, I don't believe I missed any spots. Everything is seam sealed all up in here around the battery box. Sorry if I'm a little closer. And down in there in the footwells and all that kind of stuff. Obviously I've got the car up just to make it a little easier. Did this seam back here because that was done on the originally. All the meetings of all those seams, and again, so if there was a metal to metal joint where it was kind of butt welded, I've used the caulking gun, and everything else got just paint brushed. So about half of the can of the paintable stuff and about 2/3 to 3/4 of the caulking tube got used. I probably am going to be good with the rest of that. So now what I want to do is get these couple paint spots, and you can really see it there. I hope that clear spot there. I'm going to rough these up real quick. And well, actually, I'm going to get the car flipped all the way around first, all the way on its bottom, and then see about getting those areas painted. So that's the plan. All right, just a little bit before 6 o'clock. Flipping it over obviously worked. So now the next step is to start scuffing this up and sanding it down. 180 grit, getting in with the tan or the maroon pads where I cannot get the sandpaper into cleanly, and then starting to tape everything off and get the earplugs and the threads for preparation for the Raptor Liner. Unfortunately, the little bit of epoxy, the epoxy primer that I saved isn't good anymore. It's already cured up, so I'm not going to be able to reuse that. So just on Saturday or when I get over here, I'll figure out something to do with that. Something to be said for a small car. 725, and everything's been hit with 180 grit. Sandpaper, pretty much. There's still some shiny spots, so I'll pay attention to those, but now I'm going to go over it with the tan pad pretty much everywhere, and the spots that are especially shiny I'll hit with the 180 grit again. But definitely we'll wrap this up today, and then that'll probably be about it for the night, but we'll see how it goes. Just before 8 o'clock, and everything's done with the sanding, whatever you want to call it, scuffing, and getting it dull. So you can hopefully definitely see a dullness to the surface. A couple shiny spots, especially in the grooves where the ribs were popped out and stuff like that. But I think for the most part, I'm happy with what I've got here. The process here is going to be to clean this up real well. I'm not going to do that tonight because I'm just going to have to do it again anyway. It'll be a waste of materials. Clean this up real well, and then shoot a reduced coat of epoxy primer, about 25% reduction over top of this, and then I got a 2 to 4 hour window according to SPI where then I can top coat it. The top coat obviously for me is going to be the Raptor Liner. So I'll get this shot, set the paint booth back up or bring the tarps back up, get this shot, wait a couple hours, mix up the Raptor Liner. Gonna have to go in like 500 gram increments. It's gonna get all scientific in weight measurements and everything to be able to do that. But and then shoot the Raptor Liner. Obviously, got to get everything taped off here, protect the rest of the body real well, just sort of minimize how much extra work I got to do. But otherwise, I'm happy with where I sit. So that'll be for Saturday. Hopefully, get some color on her. So other than that, that's about it for the day. Tomorrow evening at about 10 o'clock, I'm taking the boys and myself striped bass fishing. It's a nighttime run, so from about 10 p.m. to about 5 in the morning or so. They're getting between 30 and 50 pounders out there, so it's if nothing else, it's going to be exciting. So if I get something good, I'll take some pictures of it. So I'll be out of commission pretty much all day on Friday, but either Saturday or Sunday I should be over here to get some Raptor Liner down. And that's about it. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. I'm trying to start to pump out my engine rebuild videos again. I put out about a 5-minute one last night, and I found some footage that I had forgotten to include on replacing the oil pump and taking the measurements on that, so I'll have to get those in there. So anyway, that's all I have for this evening. Hope you have a good rest of your week. Take care. Cheers.